there.
Yo, this is DOZ and Alva Man 1. And I don't know if you guys can see the case, but it is Metal Gear Rising, and we are going to do a review of that game.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the first things first, this game is actually not as long as you would think it is for a Metal Gear game, but it actually is a pretty short game. It's about, I want to say about 4 to 5 hours long.
Yeah.
If you're a hardcore gamer, you'll get through it in about that time. I did.
It's coming on right about 10. We started around 2, so yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, it's going to take you a while to get through this game. First things first, the graphics. I noticed the outside world and the environment around Raiden really isn't all that great. It's like they put the emphasis on Raiden and the cyborgs and the enemies and the attacks.
That's okay.
But other than that, it's like the outside world really isn't...
Good graphics for the outside world.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that. It's just there's not much to it.
Yeah, they detailed the outside world really well, but...
There's just...
Other than the things like you can cut up, and you can cut up pretty much just about anything you want, the graphics are really, really well. The gameplay itself is actually, for a action hack and slash game, this is one of the best I've played, like, ever. It's one of those games that are just, you know, awesome because you'll go through, you could slice up cyborgs. You got to take their left hands, though, to get, like, upgrades from this guy known as Doctor, as Alvaman sits here in silence.
Sorry, I was reading the back of the case. I got sidetracked there.
Yeah, but as far as the gameplay goes, man, what do you think about it?
I think the gameplay is actually pretty good. I like that it keeps a pretty fast pace. I mean, that makes for pretty cool. And, like, the graphics and especially the boss fights are incredible.
Yeah, the only flaw I could give it as far as, like, gameplay-wise goes, the only flaws I could give it are, like, the camera angle can get in bad positions at times.
You get some weird camera angles, that's true.
And when they call you on the codec, it's like, you really don't want the action to slow down. And I kind of wish they would have, you know, just said, okay, they could have contacted you while you're fighting these guys instead of sitting there calling you every 5 minutes, stopping you, giving you info. Yeah, but in any game where you have
a phone call thing in the game,
it's going to stop you regardless. Yeah, and I will say this, in regards to fighting the cyborgs, the action did get repetitive, but I found it fun all the way through.
Yeah.
I enjoyed doing combos and just beating the hell out of the cyborgs, cutting them in half. You have to press triangle and an indicated red square marker to get their spines, which you will need that.
The spines give you health.
To get your health and get your meter upgraded as you go along throughout the game. The first couple chapters of the game, Raiden is just a cyborg who has a basic sword. He fights his rival Sam. Sam does some of the craziest stuff I ever seen in a video game, taking Raiden and just tearing him apart. We won't spoil it, but you guys are probably going to lose your appetites over this game because the cutscenes are pretty graphic. And
yeah, some of them are pretty graphic. This is true.
The cutscenes may be long, but they're nowhere near as long as Metal Gear Solid 4. Oh my god. But these cutscenes are action-packed. The voice acting is really well thought out. Raiden does Metal Gear Rising justice.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, as far as the boss fights go, that'll probably be the last thing we touch upon.
Boss fights are pretty epic.
Yeah, they are hard. Like,
especially
at first.
Especially the final boss fight, which isn't really a surprise. You want the final boss fight in the game to be one that's difficult.
And it is.
You know, it's kind of a letdown when the final boss fight's way too easy, so...
Yeah, after you play... Like, here's the learning curve about this game. Depending on what difficulty you're going to play it on, it's going to take you quite some time to get the learning curve of this game down and the patterns. But then once you have it down about 2 to 3 times later, you'll get through the game in, like... I got through it in about 4 hours and 15 minutes. Because I watched all the cutscenes. Like, I didn't really skip any of them. So that's how long this game is going to take you. And I'm sure there's tons of unlockables.
And there will be add-on content.
Yeah, eventually. There is going to be DLC. But anything else you'd like to add?
I can say that for 100% sure, certain. I think it's definitely worth getting the game. I mean, and this is one of the, you know, once you're done, you can go back
and do any chapter you want.
Whatever chapter you want. You know, so that's pretty cool.
Let's talk about the fourth wall. Some of the stuff in the fourth wall was some of the funniest things we ever heard in our lives.
Mile High City represent, baby.
Yeah, they got Colfax in there. That was
tight. They got Colfax in Auraria.
Mm-hmm.
Which means to me, you rolling right down I-70.
And they got the 16th Street Mall.
Oh, yeah.
And for you, I know you had the biggest nerd moment of all time.
The biggest mark-out moment. The Ninja Turtles reference. Yeah!
Yeah, they do reference
Cowabunga! Go Ninja! Go Ninja! Go!
Yeah. But I'd have to give this game at least close to a 10, or maybe even a 10.
Not to mention the fact that they had the Psy weapon.
Yeah.
That's another Ninja Turtles reference.
The weapons in this game are like the sword, grenades, rocket launchers. The sword is what you're going to use.
Raiden's sword is the main weapon, but then you have what they call the unique weapons. You have the Psys, which are pretty cool. It's got like this weird like magnetic energy whip thing that it does. You have this other thing that's basically a bow staff made out of the tripod camera thing's arms.
Mm-hmm.
You have the scissor swords from that one jackass.
From the first guy, by the way, that there is going to be a cutscene in the very beginning of the game where you will probably be terrified. I kind of was when I first saw it. I was like, "Oh my god!"
You meet Sam and that other guy.
Yep.
Whose name I forgot, but.
Dulcev, I think, or no, not him.
No, not Dulcev.
Some other guy.
Yeah, it's one of the other bosses in the game, but yeah, and then of course, there are two main weapons, but it takes a while for you to get the second one.
Yeah, it's going to take you all the way to the end of the game, basically.
Pretty much. To
get the other sword, and the other sword is better, so it's going to be worth it playing through it one time, and then trying to beat the game and see how long it's going to take you to beat most levels.
Mm-hmm.
There are 7 chapters in the game. You're going to get through it in about 4 hours and 15 minutes.
If you play straight through, yeah.
And watch all the cutscenes.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't watch all the cutscenes, which is what I plan on doing in my next playthrough, then I'm probably going to try to get through it in about 3.5 hours. If you've got a day to kill. But overall, I'm going to give this a thumbs up buy. I mean, if you're a fan of hack and slash. If you're a fan of Metal Gear, like if you are a Metal Gear fanboy, you will love this game.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
Pretty awesome.
Yep.
Although I do kind of wish that they could have told us what happened to Snake, because they kind of left that up in the air at the end of the last game.
Yeah. Question is there going to be a Metal Gear Solid 5? I don't know. All I got to say is Hideo Kojima, Platinum Games, good work, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And there will definitely be a Metal Gear Rising 2. And as far as final thoughts go, get this game now. That's all I've got to say.
Yep. And I think the next big game that we're all really waiting for is one that comes out in September, and that, of course, is GTA 5.
Cannot wait for that.
Yeah, and we will be doing a review of that once that game comes out.
Yeah, we're going to do a first impressions and then a review probably a couple weeks later after we get some time to play the game.
Yep.
But yeah, this has been our review of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. Stay tuned for more reviews. Peace.